Let's say you have been saving up some money. It's probably not enough to retire or to buy a house, but you are thinking about investing in something. You could put your money in stocks, ETF, REITs, government or corporate bonds, forex, crypto, fine art, watches, NFT, so on and so forth. There seems to be tons of options out there to help you make money. But for beginners, all these jargons are confusing. And on top of that, there's a real fear that you might lose all of that hard-earned money that you have been accumulating in all your life. In light of all of that, I've summarized some of the most important preparations for anyone to start investing with confidence and build your wealth along the way. So, let's start by talking about what is investing. The point of investing is for your money to be able to make more money over time. Once you have set aside a portion of your money for emergency funds, savings, and for your daily expenses, the extra money that you have, no matter how little or how much it is, you want your remaining hard-earned money to grow. Many of us put those money in the bank to earn an interest and call that investment. But the problem with that is that we have something called inflation. And so if you have 10 ringgit in your bank account today that allows you to buy a cup of latte last year, chances are you won't be able to get the same cup of latte anymore, given that prices has gone up quite significantly. And over time, your money loses its purchasing power, which is why ideally you want to invest in something that can at least outbeat inflation. That leads us to the next question. How do we invest in something that can outbeat inflation? The idea is to buy an asset that is able to generate a greater return. There are two ways in which an asset can make you greater returns. Let's say you buy a house and rent it out for investment. First of all, you will get rental income that consistently flows back to your bank account every month. Secondly, hopefully the value of the house will increase over time. If you didn't buy that house and just let the money sit in the bank account, over time you will be losing money because inflation is going to eat away your purchasing power. Now, houses are just one of the many types of asset classes that we can invest our money in and to make more money for ourselves. There are other types of asset classes where you can make money in the two same ways that I've mentioned. From a steady stream of income like rent and the potential for the asset price to grow over a period of time. These other types of asset classes are a long list of things that you probably heard of but are not entirely familiar with. We have got stocks or shares or equities, which is kind of the same thing. We have got government bonds, corporate bonds. You probably heard of REITs, which is an alternative method to own properties, by the way. Crypto, ETF, the list just endless. A lot of these can get very complicated quite quickly, and so we are going to simplify things and just focus on stock investing because that's the main asset class that normal people like you and me understand quite easily. Also, stock investing doesn't require a huge amount of money like buying a house, and as long as you pay a little more attention to your daily surroundings, you should be able to get a hang of it pretty quickly. So, stock investing is kind of like the basics of investing. And when people talk about investing in stocks, generally they refer to investing in things like Maybank or they're investing in Nestle and that kind of stuff. When you're investing in stocks, you are basically buying a percentage of ownership of a company. In short, you are one of the proud owners of those companies you are buying into. When we say stocks, usually people refer to a publicly traded company, which means not only the owners and insiders themselves, but the public can also trade the shares of those companies. So how do you buy, say, Maybank shares? It's not as straightforward as going to Lazada and Shopee to buy it, but the concept is rather similar. All these publicly traded companies are listed on an exchange, or the stock market as we call it. Imagine a supermarket, that's an exchange. And the public company listed on the exchange are like the products on the shelves for people to buy or sell. In a supermarket, once you pick your stuff and put in your shopping cart, you go to the cashier to pay. And for the case of the stock market, the cashier is a broker. No matter which broker you go to invest in stock, the price of the stock is the same. But the brokerage fee and the services you get from the broker may vary quite a bit. Once you buy stocks, now you own some percentage of the company and you can make money from stocks in two different ways. Firstly, You could make money by hoping the price of the stock goes up over time. So maybe 3 to 5 years later when you sell it, you could potentially make a lot of money there. The second way to make money is similar to how you make rental income on a house. It's called a dividend. So for example, there's this company called Sime Darby and they pay dividends. When you own a share in Sime Darby, you get a share of the profit that Sime Darby distributes out to shareholders when they declare a dividend. The objective here is to build a portfolio of stocks that are good dividend payers so that with the ownership that you have in those companies, maybe you are getting 50 ringgit here and 72 ringgit and 42 cents there, and this amount could add up to be a significant number as your passive income, which is pretty cool. Now, here's the burning question. How are you supposed to choose which company you should put your money in? Should you buy Sime Darby or Maybank? Should you invest in companies that you're more familiar with like Farm Fresh, Carlsberg or Aeon? For beginner investors, I reckon a good comprehensive platform that is able to show a bird's eye view of all the information to make investment decisions is crucial. Thankfully, we have that today. Inside the MooMoo app, you are able to get quite extensive information about all you need to know to invest in the stock market. They are able to do that because more than half of MooMoo's workforce is actually dedicated to R&D, who are constantly trying to improve the user experience by providing relevant information to investors and enhancing the user interface to make their platform as user-friendly as possible. Let me show you an example of how it works. Depending on whether you are using the mobile or the desktop version of the MooMoo app, the appearance may look a little bit different. What I'm showing here is actually the desktop version of the MooMoo app. Now, once you click into the app, this will be your screen. And say you want to invest in Malaysian stock market, all you need to do is to move your mouse to the market icon, click on it, and move your market to MY, which stands for Malaysia. Immediately, this is what you are going to see on your screen. It has very comprehensive information here like market indexes, which tells you how the market is doing for the day. It also has some stock rankings, which tells you what are the stocks which is going up and what are the stocks that are top decliners of the day. Now, what's interesting for me on this app is this thing called the stock heat map. Basically, it gives you a snapshot of how respective stocks are doing in their respective sectors. So for example, the biggest sector in the Bursa Malaysia is actually the banking sector. And as we can see over here, CIMB is at a loss of 0.71% on the current market, and Hong Leong Financial Group is actually going up on that day. But what's more interesting here is that you can actually change your stock heat map into an industry heat map. And what it does here is to give you an even broader view on which sector is actually doing well and which sector is doing not so great on that day. Let's go back to the stock heat map. Recently, everyone is buying into the semiconductor sector because of the tremendous growth that this sector can provide to investors. So when we click into semiconductor sector, we can see a full list of the tech stocks that are listed on Bursa Malaysia on the top bottom of the screen. Let's say the first one over here, Pekat Group. You may not be familiar with the company. All you need to do is to double click on the company and it gives you an overview of what the company does. So to know what Pekat Group is all about, simply move your mouse to the summary area and this is where you can see the profile of Pekat Group. So if you want to find out whether Pekat Group is trading at an expensive valuation or not, just look at the top right corner of the section where you can find out the PE ratio of the trailing 12-month basis. If you are looking to invest in Sharia compliant stocks, MooMoo app also consolidate all the Sharia compliant stocks for you. So it's very easy for you to pick the Sharia compliant stock that you want to invest in. Apart from that, if you want to do sector analysis, just go to this tab over here and select the industry that you want to analyze further. For example, if we go into the oil and gas tab, it shows you all the oil and gas company listed on Bursa Malaysia, and these are the basic information for you to continue your research. I know for starters, the app may look sophisticated and confusing, but trust me, it is very easy to use. Now, there are more common fears and concerns about investing. We always think like, wow, if I invested in these stocks, what if my money goes to zero? What if I lose a lot of money? The good news is, if you're investing in stocks, it is very unlikely that you will lose all your money because companies that are listed off the exchange went through a thorough screening and due diligence to make sure their business operations are solid. Even in the event that the company that you invested in collapses, it will undergo a liquidation process, and after paying off all the necessary expenses, the company will return the remaining amount of cash they have back to investors based on the percentage of shares you have invested in. Nonetheless, the share price of a stock fluctuates day to day, and sometimes we do get panicked and start thinking if we should cut loss on our investment. Most of the time, it's normal for stocks to go up and down, and sometimes the fluctuation can be big. At this point, it's important to find out if there's any news that causes the stock to behave in such a manner. Simply Google the name of the stock and see if there's any breaking news, or you can always refer back to MooMoo App for reference as well. The other important point to note is that never put all eggs in one basket. Suppose you put all your money into one single stock and that stock crashed and went down by, say, 80%. That's 80% of your money gone, man. But suppose you spread your funds across 5 stocks with an equal amount invested on each of them. When one of the stock crashed and went down by 80%, assuming all else being equal, you are only hit by 16% on your portfolio. That's the power of diversification to mitigate risk, and that's the key to not lose all your money in your investment. The other question sometimes people may ask is, how much money do I need to get started? Do I need to be super rich to start investing? The answer is no. Start small and accumulate your funds over time by depositing some money into your trading account when you have extra cash. That's the advantage of investing in the stock market than, say, to invest directly in a real business, which often requires investors to put in a big lump sum of money in order for the business to run. Stocks are traded in units, and in Malaysia context, stocks are traded in a block of 100 units of shares. So if Maybank is trading at 9 ringgit per share, the amount of money you need to be a proud owner of Maybank is simply just 900 ringgit, or slightly more than that after taking into account a small brokerage fee and regulatory fee. So that's basically all you need to know before you start investing as a beginner. I do write on Mr. Money's newsletter to provide subscribers with more insights about the market. So if you're interested to pick on my mind about what I think about investing, or what are the most current news that are affecting the stock market, click on the link below to sign up for our newsletter. Hopefully this video instills some confidence in you to start investing, and do subscribe to this channel to keep yourself updated with more investment related content for beginners. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon in my next video.